Hello, team and family. We're working on simplifying fractions, and this is video number 3. I'm going to go ahead and take 32 over 64 and try to simplify it. Now, I can find the GCF, or the greatest common factor, of 32 and 64. If I find the GCF, then I won't need to simplify more than once. But for this, I'm going to actually show you that you can simplify more than once. So I'm going to divide it by a onesie that I know can go into both 32 and 64. Any number that ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 is, or not 10, excuse me, a 0, let me erase that out, is divisible by 2. So any number that ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and I guess I repeated 0 twice, so I'll just take out 0 again. 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 is divisible by 2. So let's go ahead and divide 32 by 2 and 64 by 2. So 32 divided by 2 is 16, and 64 divided by 2 is 32. If I didn't know that, I could do it off to the side, but I still have two fractions, or I still have a fraction that still can be simplified. So once again, I'm going to divide it by a onesie. When I look at that number, I see that 16 ends in a 6 and 32 ends in a 2, so it can still be divided by 2. They're both even numbers. So 16 divided by 2 is 8, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. So I still have 8 over 16, which I'm like, okay, they're both even numbers, so I can still divide it by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now I still have 4 eighths, which still can be divided by 2, because they're both evens. So I'm going to take 4 and 8 and divide it by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And I'm looking and I'm going, okay, so I still have two even numbers, so I can divide it by 2 again. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now I have an odd and an even number, and I know that 1/2 is in its simplest form, so 1/2 is my answer. Now I want to take a different color marker and circle all the times I divided by my onesie. That's 3 now, 4 now, and 5 times. 5 different times I multiplied by, or divided, excuse me, by my onesie. So if I take 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that would have actually gotten me my greatest common factor. So if I only divided by this number, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, and 16 times 2 is 32. If I had divided by 32, I actually would have only had to divide once. I wouldn't have had to divide 5 times, because 32 is the GCF of 32 and 64.